Hi guys, Bethany Wilson here. I'm going to be showing you guys how to work on counter conditioning protocols to change your dog's mind as far as how they feel about being touched, assuming that it's a negative mindset, a nervous mindset, or an attitude. So if your dog or puppy is showing any sort of insecurity with being touched in a certain area, or an attitude, or anything like that, obviously we want to address the bad behavior. We don't want to just let that slide under the rug, but you've got to actively work on those things in order to really see a long-term difference. You can't just give food to your dog and expect things to go away, and you can't just correct your dog and expect things to just disappear. If you really want to tackle a behavior, you have to have some balance. So I'm going to show a video of me working with Baxter. Baxter is an older dog. He's highly aggressive towards people. We've had him for almost a couple of months, and his training is going really well as far as being able to physically touch him, which normally would result in a really severe bite. So even though I'm using a dog with a very rough past and a past of neglect and some other issues, this video is not geared towards people who have already waited until their dog is biting people, biting family members, or very fearful and nervous about being touched. That would be a complete other video. This video is geared towards people who maybe they grab their dog's paw and the dog just kind of goes and jerks it away and is a little bit insecure about that, or a lot insecure, but not to the point of being aggressive yet. That would definitely be a different video. But you can use these counter conditioning techniques in a multitude of areas. Just a few examples are nervous of new people, door knocking, leash going overhead, grooming, collar being touched, and nervous of loud noises. The goal is to really break down some really basic counter conditioning methods. You want to use a very high value food when you start this. Even though Baxter's probably just going to be on kibble, we started with really high value food. If your dog is so nervous they won't take food, use something like lunch meat. It's not great for them, but it's a bit of a starter, or go buy a roast chicken. And then after that, find something healthier like boiled chicken or something like that that you can use before just starting to use their kibble. So good luck. Hi guys, this is Baxter. He's the one I mentioned that I'm going to be doing the counter conditioning with. He does have a bad leg, so if any of you see him kind of gimp around, that's why. But anyway, I'm going to talk to you about how to gear up the clicker or gear up a marker word before you even get started with counter conditioning. It's a really good idea to do this. We usually only use clickers when we have dogs that come in that are very fearful of us. So instead of us verbally saying good, which even that in and of itself can make them be like, we'll use a different tool that's not associated with us. It's like a neutral tool. But sometimes even the clicker makes dogs nervous. So really just do what comes most naturally to you. I'm going to show you both ways. We do use marker words more than clickers. To gear up a marker word or gear up a clicker, it's really simple. You just click it, or you say your marker word like yes or good and feed, and you do that 5 to 10 times. If I want to gear up my marker word, which I'll actually even do this for the first few days as almost a warm-up to kind of let the dog know we're going to be working on this now. So I'll just do the first 5 pieces of food with my clicker or my marker word. So it'll just be good, good. I'm not super concerned right now that he looks at me or looks at the food. It's not a big concern of mine right now, especially if you're just starting out. Good. Good. So just like teaching sit for food or anything else, they just learned that good means I'm going to get some food. And this helps when you start to work on the touch aspect of things. Baxter is really good with this now with me. However, since I'm going to be distracted with the video and explaining a few things, he's muzzled for safety. If you do need a dog that you think, if you have a dog that you think might need to be muzzled, I'll have some information on what we recommend at the end of the video. Okay, so it's the same protocol, but you want to start super small. So let's say your dog has an issue with feet, like Baxter. That's one of Baxter's triggers. So I don't go right for the foot, right? I'm not gonna go right for the foot. I'm going to, good, and give a piece of food. Good. Maybe grab an ear. Not grab, but touch an ear. Good. And I'm gonna work my way down. He's also uncomfortable with basically anything except his head. So I start with what he's comfortable on to kind of warm him up and work my way down. Good. Look, I'm still touching him while I feed him too. If you can do that, that's good. But let's say even that makes your dog a little jumpy. I can literally give him the food, say good, touch, and stop, right? So it's so brief. And so I actually just say good. While he's eating it, touch, good, stop, right? You can really break this down to be very, very minimal. Good. So look, I don't even pick it up. I just touched it, right? Good. So now I'll actually pick it up. Good. So what happens is that word good is associated with food. And so he might have this moment of, and then when he hears it, he's like, oh, it's okay. I'm gonna get food in a second. And it kind of prolongs the time that you can start to touch and hold and work with your dog in whatever way is making them nervous or giving them attitude. Good. 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 So with Baxter, that longevity, that took a while, maybe a week to 2 weeks to work up to. So you don't have to rush this. You shouldn't rush this. Now I'm gonna go for his bad leg, which is on the other side. I'm gonna get a little bit better position in case we do have any attitude. Good. So I love that. He was sniffing my hand, but he was looking for food. He wasn't looking to be nervous or look, he's starting to relax onto his back now. And it's because he's so used to this routine. I can even have someone new come in, meet him a few times and do this, and he's so conditioned to it that most of the time he warms up within just meeting a person 3-4 times. And he's like, oh, I know this exercise, I can relax. And then that makes him more relaxed in more organic scenarios. Like if he comes in from the yard and he's got a leaf on him and I need to just, pull it off or something like that. Good. So I hesitated there because I saw his little whiskers move, but he was just sniffing my hand looking for food. Good. And he doesn't jerk his arms back away from us anymore the way that he used to. And this is all through counter conditioning. Counter conditioning doesn't work if you just do it a few times. When you want to use a positive reinforcement method, we're talking about hundreds upon thousands of repetitions to see a state of mind change. Now it's totally worth it, especially if you knew how this little guy used to be. It's completely worth it, and it's only been a couple months of work on this, yeah. But I will say that when you sit down with your dog, go ahead and be prepared to do at least 30 repetitions. And it doesn't have to be really involved. It doesn't have to be, really physically handling before you say good in food. It's literally about good food, good food, over and over again. And then if you have a dog that doesn't like to be touched or picked up, or a puppy, sometimes puppies can get insecure about this. Come here, bud. Get up. Get up. Ugh. There we go. We're switching gears. There we go. So let's say you want to work on physically touching your dog. What you want to do, start with a sit. You're just going to go around You can hold onto the leash so they don't like fuss or walk away. You just want to lay down. You're going to go underneath them. Good. Food. So you're going to keep it really brief in the beginning. Good. Food. And so I might do that 10 times before getting to the point where I might actually lift a little bit. Good. Down again. Or even just a little bit. Just let them feel pressure under their rib cage, right? So my point is just, you really, good, sit, good boy, you can lay back down now. But you can really make a lot of headway fairly quickly, especially if your dog hasn't reached to the point where we're having to muzzle a dog. You'll be surprised in just a few weeks how much more comfortable your dog or puppy, your new dog or puppy will get. Isn't that right, bud? Now I'm going to talk about some safety protocols. Even with dogs that are just really fussy, safety protocols are important. And then also disagreeing with any attitude. Now there's a lot of ways you can disagree with attitude. I'm going to start in a really simple, basic way that doesn't directly address it in a correctional way. Oh, sorry, bud, that's my clicker. So let's say that you've got the leash here. Your dog hasn't shown any true aggression or anything like that, so you're not holding the leash. You just have the leash here. You want to use a slip leash, or what Baxter has on is a dominant dog collar. It's just a fancy slip leash, but it is really good. It puts more even pressure around the neck rather than a slip leash. But anyway, you want something around the dog's head that can be kind of high on the neck in case they just fuss or squirm, to settle them down. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's say that you have just done this, and you get a grumble or some squirminess or something like that. What you can do is just take your leash and do pressure up in the air. Now this is super gentle pressure. He's not doing anything wrong, so I don't want to put any actual pressure, but it is very gentle. So let me be really clear, really clear. So come here, bud. I gotta show him. Come here. Come here. So you do not want to be lifting your dog off the ground with pressure. All these feet should stay on the ground. It's just pressure, and it'll help calm them down. Just like if I put pressure, good, I get a sit and a down. Now, obviously, he's been worked with, so he knows what pressure means. But that is how you can really settle a dog out of some attitude. Now, if the dog if you're getting growling, snarling, something like that, one, seek a professional's help, okay? And two, you just keep pressure on the leash until you do see that give in, that calmness kick in. But again, I need to be very clear. Feet don't come off the ground. If you're holding your dog, because like he's a little guy, so we've had to practice picking him up a lot because that's important. He's a little guy, he needs to be able to be picked up. So if we're holding him, like this, and I'm good food, and I get a little bit of attitude, maybe a little tooth or something like that, a little growl, I'm gonna do a verbal N-O, and I'm gonna just hold him here and do pressure up, no, until he settles. And then if he's squirmy at all, I can kind of put him down, but I'm still gonna have pressure on that leash until he comes down. Good boy, buddy. He's like, I've been through all this before. What are you doing? But that's how we want to help with those types of attitude issues. It's not hitting it head on. It's not really tackling it head on, any severe mouthiness or growling or barking. But it is a way to help calm your dog down and then get back to the food work. Any addressing of aggression more directly or through correctional training should be handled by a professional. You should seek a professional's help before you would do anything like that. Okay, so let me just be clear on that. And yeah, so that's about it, guys. At least 30 repetitions once a day, 6 days a week, take 1 day off, 6 days a week for a few weeks, and see where you get with that. But just understand that if your dog has maybe been playing with other dogs and doesn't like to be grabbed by the collar, that's a common one that we see. They're out playing with other dogs and they've been doing really good with the counter conditioning, and you call them over and you grab them by the collar, you might get some attitude because they're already in an adrenalized state of mind. So always make sure you take the time to make sure your dog is in a calm state of mind. For instance, if he does have something on him, even on his ear or something that he's maybe picked up in the yard, some leaves or something, we have him come, sit, maybe go to place, and then we kind of scratch him on his head, and then we take whatever we need to, off a leg or off an ear. And we're very calm about it, and we've only just been able to start doing that with him. So it takes time, takes a lot of work. Don't forget to practice your basic obedience, your focus work, your calming exercises, things like that. But this is for the counter conditioning of something specific. So remember, start with something easy. If your dog is good with being pet on the head, good food 5 times. Then if it doesn't like its rear end being touched, good food, and work your way down to his rear end. So whatever that sensitive spot is, don't go right for it, right? Start small, work your way up. All right? We like to use Baskerville Muzzles because they allow the dog to open their mouth, eat, drink through the muzzle, pant, all that good stuff. And if you need to muzzle condition your dog, what we recommend is Josh Moran's muzzle conditioning video on YouTube.